Hi, I'm Liana. I'm a large animal massage therapist and rider. Today, I'm going to be sharing 5 habits that I've picked up as a large animal massage therapist that I use in my riding and why I think you should add them in too. Number 1, intentional exercise. At least 3 days a week. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but consistency really does matter. None of the other things that we're going to talk about in this video will work if you can't commit to imperfect consistency in exercising your horse. The number one thing in my practice that I would like to see is more horses receiving more low intensity exercise. If you're a weekend warrior, try getting in 1 or 2 low intensity exercises per week for at least 20 minutes. You'll be surprised at how much you can achieve in just 20 minutes. That brings us to number 2, training posture and strength. When I talk about posture and strength, what I mean is slow, intentional work. This means taking out momentum. So these exercises should be performed at a standstill or a slow walk. When you're focusing on posture and strength, you're focusing on training the small muscles that hold the skeleton in a certain position. These are different than the large locomotive muscles that swing the limbs. When you ask your horse to do something slow and intentionally, you're taking away their ability to swing their limbs and over-involve their locomotive muscles. So these things can start simple. You can be doing carrot stretches by bringing their head around to the side, as long as they're square, to challenge their balance. You can be picking up their feet and holding them for longer than you normally would as you pick them. You can eventually progress to poles and then eventually raise the pole. Another thing I can think of is varied surfaces so that they're getting different input and challenging their balance that way. This is a simple way for those people who have those 20 minutes a day to add in some specific intentional exercise for their horses. Just like us, horses that stand in a stall or stand around in a small paddock tend to lose tone in these postural muscles. We tend to slouch and sit like shrimp when we work on the computer. Horses tend to do it too. So if we could implement just a little bit of this into our weekly practice for every kind of horse, performance or otherwise, I think it would be great. I want to mention that walking is a wonderful exercise. If you have time to hand walk your horse for 10 to 20 minutes in the middle of the week, or if when you're riding you can spend one of your rides just walking, I think that that's a great way to build up these postural muscles. Again, slow is fast. Number 3. Assess tension patterns during your grooming routine. I'm in a unique position where my job is to assess tension patterns. So this comes pretty naturally to me. When I'm running my hands over my horses while I'm grooming, that's what I'm doing. Now, you don't need to be an equine massage therapist or any kind of body worker to be able to assess your horse for basic tension patterns. But I can make a specific video on that if you guys would like. There's 3 simple things that you want to be looking for. The first is just paying attention to your horse's reactions. So as you run your hands along their neck, is there a specific spot where every day they either lean in or lean away? As you run your hands across their rib cage, are they turning around to look at you? Are they pinning their ears? Are they narrowing their eyes? Sometimes they'll turn around and bite at you. When you see a cinchy horse, a lot of times if you run your hand underneath on their sternum, they will react to that. So those kinds of things are things you should be logging in your brain as data points. If it happens one time, don't freak out. I mean, don't freak out if it happens 100 times, but notice that because that means that something is happening. They don't lie about that kind of stuff. Second thing you can do while assessing tension patterns is to look for muscles that bounce back. You're going to be looking for the muscle to press in and bounce back out. So if you feel like you're pressing on a rock, that's tension. The other thing that you can look for, especially while you're using your curd comb, is the glide of the skin over the muscles. That indicates tension in the connective tissue or fascia, which can reduce mobility as well as tight muscles. I'll show you on my forearm. I hope you can see that, the glide. Curd combs are a great tool to use for massage during your grooming routine. I have a specific technique that I like to use that involves scrubbing and dragging the skin back and forth, and I will eventually make a video on that, so stay tuned. Number 4, warm up and cool down. We've all heard it a million times. You should warm up your horse and you should walk them at the end of your ride. But why? Here's why it's important. Horses should have at least 7 minutes of walking or maybe a little bit of gentle trotting. The reason is it's going to warm up the muscles, the fascia, the tendons, and the ligaments and make them more pliable. So they are less prone to tension and then overall injury from tearing. You want your horse to be able to access its full range of motion before you ask for athletic maneuvers. So that could be spinning, stopping hard, cow turns. For those who are not a Western rider, it could be jumping or asking for super collected work from your dressage horse, etc. So you want to make sure that their muscles and ligaments and soft tissues are warm. If they're cold, they have less range of motion. Cool down is equally as important as warming up. Most horses are going to need at least 10 minutes of walking before they're fully cooled out. It greatly depends on what you're doing, how fit your horse is, and a lot of other factors, but 10 minutes at least, okay? The reason is that it helps to gradually lower the heart rate and the respiration rate and helps the muscles continue to move while flushing out the metabolic waste of exercise. Number 5, regularly checking tack fit. Okay, number 1, this is sort of unrelated already, but my major rant as an equine massage therapist is over tightened cinches. Please be checking your cinch at the bottom, at the sternum, all the way between your horse's front legs, where the rings of the cinches, girth if you're an English rider. Check there, because that's where the pressure is going to be the greatest. Your horse is shaped like a ship. And some horses have narrow sternums and some horses have wider pectoral sternum areas, okay? But check underneath there. That's number 1. And if you're over tightening it, you are putting so much pressure on that part of their body, which they need to balance and lift and do all of the things we ask them to do. And it can really hurt. So first of all, it's not a tack fit exactly, but don't over tighten your cinch, okay? Number 2, hopefully you're building muscle on your horse, ideally. Your saddle is going to change fit over time. Many people know this already, but you're going to need to check your saddle fit, I would say, at least quarterly, regularly. And that might mean that you either adjust your saddle, get a different one, or you're changing out pads. It can be very helpful to have a variety of pads to switch between as your horse builds more muscle. I myself have about 4 different ones that I switch between depending on what I think my horses need. The last piece is anatomical tack. Now, this is kind of a hot topic. Anatomical tack can be fine, but if it does not fit your horse correctly, it will cause issues. The reason is it is designed as a one-size-fits-all a lot of the time. Maybe not every single piece of anatomical tack is that way. I don't know them all, but a lot of the times they will have a specific curve to them. I'm thinking of the crown pieces on bridles and of the girths and cinches, and that curve does not fit every single horse's body. So when you put your tack on, run your fingers under it, either the girth or the crown piece or whatever other piece of tack you have, and feel, is it applying even pressure all the way across? Is the back tighter than the front, etc. And if it's not, then it might be worth considering a different piece of tack. You want even pressure. Pressure points are not good, especially, anywhere. But when you think about the crown piece, that's one that sometimes gets overlooked. The crown piece, if it doesn't fit their ears correctly, it could be pressing into some pretty sensitive areas on their skull, up and around their eyes and their TMJ and their ears. And we really don't want that. Overall, check all of your tack regularly, not just your saddle and your saddle pads. Every piece of tack that you put on your horse, run your hands underneath, at least once a quarter. Those are some of the habits I've developed as a rider after starting my large animal massage practice. Please let me know if any of these were helpful to you, and I look forward to catching you in the next video, where feel meets function. Bye!